UFC 307, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree is on this weekend, and I'm here to go over all of my picks for the card for every single fight, getting started with the very first fight on the card. Bit of a crapper, but Tim Means and Court McGee. Both these guys are perennially mid, okay? Neither of them have really done much. I mean, Means was decent in his career for a bit, but this is just kind of a journeyman fight. Means is a little over a 2-1 favorite. Um, yeah, I'm taking him, bro. I just think they both fought pretty much garbage. Means has fought less garbage. McGee got KO by Jeremiah Wells and Matt Brown, and then lost a unanimous decision to Alex Morono. So I don't see how he wins this fight. I mean, they're both terrible, so it's possible that one of them pulls it out. But I'm gonna go with Means by second round KO. Um, I don't think either of these guys are good, but I think Tim Means just a bit better, has a little bit better experience, and yeah, less of a shitter. I don't really know, dude. They're both pretty bad. But anyway, moving up the card. Next fight. They're all pretty good fights, too, to be fair. I mean, there's some women's fights, so you know how that goes. But there's some pretty good fights, so let's keep going. OSP, Oven St. Peru versus Ryan Spann. Now, Ryan Spann has gotten fraud checked time and time again, twice by Anthony Smith, which is just despicable. Despicable behavior. Joe Rogan talked about how this guy's like the next biggest thing. Bro lost to Anthony Smith twice, so we can just never talk about that again, okay? I got a weird feeling about this, but it might be another fraud check by Spann because, like I said, twice to Anthony Smith is nothing to be proud of. It might be a fraud check, but OSP's kind of been shit recently too, man. He hasn't been putting on much of a performance at all. I'm gonna take Spann by first round KO. I think that's the most likely thing to happen. He might get a finish either way, but I'm gonna take Spann first round KO. If he makes it past the first, I think anything could happen at that point. Anyone that loses to Anthony Smith twice gets absolutely no faith for me, but he's got to be better than OSP, or else he just wasted his entire career, and all the talk about him is just a complete waste too. So let's move up the card to the first women's fight of the night. This one's going to be plan your breaks accordingly. Let's just say that. Carla Esparza versus Tisha Pennington 2. We needed the rematch, guys. The first one wasn't enough. We needed 2 fights of this. We didn't. Somehow Pennington's a almost 2-1 favorite. I'm not really sure how. Going to be an absolute snooze fest one way or the other. Whoever wins, somebody's going to be getting held against the cage or the ground for 25 minutes or 15 minutes. Pennington's coming off not 1 but 2 split decision losses in women's MMA, and Esparza's coming off that snoozer against Rose Namajunas, one of the worst fucking title fights I've ever seen in my entire life, if not the worst. And also has a sub loss to Weili after that. So won the shitter against Rose, got subbed by Weili right after, who got beaten by Rose twice. So, you know, it's women's MMA though. Esparza's a pretty big underdog, but I'm going to take her to win by decision here. I think she's better at being boring. I'll take the wrestling, and I think she's going to hold her down for 15 minutes. So I'm going to take Esparza by decision here because they're both bad, and we shouldn't even have to watch this fight. But anyway, next fight. 2 prospects, I guess you could say. Not really. Alexander Hernandez versus Austin Hubbard. I mean, Hernandez used to be hyped up, man, and then he got fraud checked by Cerrone and just over and over again. So he's won 1 out of his last 5, and he's coming off decision losses to Bill Algeo and Damon Jackson. Ugh. God, that's disgusting. Hubbard's coming off a win over Mikkel Figlak, but clearly Hubbard's faced worse comp than Hernandez. Hernandez was trying to get fed towards the top, but couldn't get there. Hernandez is the favorite here, and honestly, if he loses to Hubbard, he should just not compete anymore. We'll say that, yeah. He should just not compete anymore. You know what I mean? Should be cut regardless. But I'm going to take Hernandez by decision. I think it's going to be boring. I think they're just both going to be trying to not lose instead of win. So we're going to take Hernandez by decision. Let's move up the card. Ihor Potieria versus Cesar Almeida. Kind of a weird one, too. Almeida's a 4-1 favorite here. Kind of surprising. He's coming off a decision loss to Roman Kopylov. So that's a bit weird. Potieria has been really back and forth, and middleweights in general are just almost impossible to predict. Potieria has a lot more experience in the UFC, but is like far younger, so it's kind of weird. Like Almeida's 8 years older and has like half the experience and only 6 pro fights that you can see here. So really weird one here. I'm gonna go with Almeida by decision, but honestly, Potieria if you want to just take him money line, that might be a good bet because the odds here are real wonky considering the the difference in their experience and just the fact that neither of them. I don't think Almeida is like so ridiculous that he's just going to come in and roll through Potieria. I could be wrong, but at 36 and a half years old and only 6 pro fights, I don't like it. So I'm gonna take Almeida by decision. But if you want to make some money on the card, Potieria is probably going to be the biggest bet on the card for that. Next fight, the second women's fight. Well, one woman. Marina Rodriguez and Yasmin Lucindo. You know how we pick women's fights by the least woman one. So we're gonna go Lucindo by decision because it'll probably be boring as fuck regardless. So we're gonna go Lucindo by decision. Not much else to really talk here. Marina Rodriguez kind of been on a skid, kind of had her chance to get to the top, lost, all this shit. Who cares? Let's move on to some real fights. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. This is the prelim main fight, and unfortunately, I think Buckley's probably gonna get this one, man. I think he's not gonna try to stand on the feet with Wonder Boy like someone like Kevin Holland did. There's gonna be no standing pack here, man. He's trying to win the fight and get to the top of the division. So I think he's gonna wrestle the entire time as much as he possibly can. If Thompson can't keep him away with some push kicks and movement getting out of the way, I think most of the fight's just gonna be Joaquin Buckley on top of him on the ground. And because of that, I'm gonna go with him by unanimous decision. It's either gonna be Thompson just pieces him up on the feet and he can't get it to the ground, or he's just gonna take him down and hold him there the whole time. So I'm gonna take Buckley by just doing some ground and pound UD over the 3 rounds. Let's move on to the main card. Pretty decent main card. Definitely not one of the best of the year, but not too bad either. There's 2 title fights, but really there's one. Anyway, first fight on the main card, we have Roman Dolidze and Kevin Holland. Dolidze kind of sucks, guys. Okay, he's very inconsistent. Sucks. And I got Holland pretty easy in this one. I think he could get a finish, but I'm going to take him by decision just based off the fact that Dolidze's literally never been finished, at least not as a pro. So probably not a good bet there. I think Holland by decision is probably a really good bet, though. He could latch up like a submish or something like that here, but I don't see it. So I'm going to take Holland by decision. I think it's a pretty easy win for him regardless. It'll probably be 2-1, 3-0, pretty clear win. Um, yeah, good for Kevin Holland. Hopefully he gets another top matchup. Always good that he's staying active, too, because he's one of the more active guys. Always an exciting fight, so glad to see him here. Let's move up the card to the second to last women's fight. There's quite a bit, if you couldn't tell. This one's a little bit better, though. We got Kayla Harrison and Ketlin Vieira. Typically, by my scoring system on women's MMA, we'd go with Vieira here, but Harrison's a force, man. I don't think she has any chance of losing this, to be totally honest. Vieira has shown that she's just another women's MMA fighter. She ain't special. Harrison's special though, dude. I think she could actually dominate this division and have somewhat of exciting fights. So it's going to be a shitter. Hopefully Harrison gets a title shot off of this because we know these other women that are fighting for the title aren't doing anything fucking exciting. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to go with Harrison by decision, I guess. A lot of decisions here, but I don't know. You know what? Let's switch it up. We're gonna go submission. We're gonna go second round submission. Okay, we're gonna go second round submission. She works her way in round 1. I think she'll get it in round 2. If not, gonna be a decision. But I don't think Vieira's very good, honestly. And Harrison seems like she's levels above so far. So I'm gonna go with Harrison round 2 submission. Could be a decision, but that's pretty much every women's MMA fight. You're just guessing it's probably going to be a decision. So the feature fight on the card, which I don't know why we even have this fight, but Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. Aldo getting absolutely disrespected again with this matchup after whooping another prospect in Jonathan Martinez last fight. I guess it's Batista's time to get fraud checked, but they have Batista here as a 175 favorite as he is riding a 6-fight win streak, but it's against absolute bums. So I don't know how much we can put into that. I'm going to go with Aldo in the fraud check with a unanimous decision 2-1. I think the skill gap is going to be shown here. I think the leg kicks of Aldo are going to start building up. And I'm going to take Aldo 1-3 here. I think he comes out strong round 1. Batista maybe fights back or something, takes him down. I don't know, takes him down round 2. How's he going to take him down when fucking Marab can't get him down, though? Like, how is Aldo fighting Batista, too? What are we doing? Honestly, this guy has more wins over top people in the division than the guys fighting for the title and shit. So I don't know what we're doing. I guess if this gives him like a title shot or title eliminator, but how are you going to justify that when he's fighting some? I think Batista's he's number 12 or low in the rankings, very low in the rankings, if anything. I don't know. I'm going to take Aldo to TKO Bautista in round 3. I think it's just going to be an accumulation of damage. Maybe knocks him down with a leg kick and then finishes him up with some ground and pound or something. I'm going to take Aldo here regardless, whatever the finish is. I would take Aldo money line here. I think as the underdog here, it's ridiculous. I'm definitely taking Aldo on the plus money there. That's probably one of the better bets other than Potieria on the card in terms of plus money, but I got Aldo, bro. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Co-main event. Ugh. Raquel Pennington and Juliana Pena. Yay! Oh, thank God we get to see this one, dude. What do we do? What would we do without this? Anyway, let's just get through it. It's going to be 5 rounds spent on the ground. Whoever's on top, they're probably going to switch back and forth, make it look interesting between them. I don't even know. They'll probably just swap top position against the cage or on the ground. We'll see a few bum rushes from Pena, just putting her head down and going, throwing her. I can't even say that. Throwing her punches, her random punches, like a special person, closing distance, just throwing punches. I guess they taught her that. Someone taught her that. I guess she's been doing this for how many years, and she's doing that. But anyway, 12-year-old could probably do better in like one boxing class. But anyway. We'll see some bum rushes. She's going to go like a spaz and run forward, probably get caught with something, get taken down. I got Pennington, I guess, by decision. I don't know. Control time apparently is a big thing now, supposedly. So I'm gonna take Pennington. I keep saying Pennington. Same fucking last name, man. I'm gonna take Pennington by decision. Gonna be slow. Again, plan your breaks accordingly because the last time there was a pay-per-view like this, man, it was an hour between when the co-main started and when the main event started. So it's a lot of time in there that you're gonna have to burn. That's all I'm saying, okay? But we get to finish the night with Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree in the main event. Kind of an undeserved title shot, to be honest. But I don't mind it because we got to keep Alex busy, or else he's just going to be sitting on the sideline waiting for somebody else to earn a title shot. Which at this point, who even knows what that means? Rountree's exciting, man. The only reason he's getting this fight is because they need something to keep Pereira busy. Rountree's never shot in a fucking takedown, so they know he's not going to do that. And I'll sit there and strike with Pereira, and one of them's going to get knocked out one way or the other. I think it's much more likely Pereira's going to knock out Rountree, but one of them's getting knocked out, and that's going to be exciting. So, point B is I think if Rountree somehow does win, that pretty much guarantees Alex an immediate rematch because he shouldn't have been there in the first place. And he's probably just lucky to be taking the opportunity. So, I think that's probably why. It's just like a placeholder fight while we see what happens with Ankalaev. I love that they made him have another fight. Fuck that dude. Make him fight again, and we'll see. If he wins that, then you have to give him a title shot, obviously. But maybe at that point, Pereira's like, I'm going up to heavyweight now. Fuck you guys. Let Ankalaev ruin the division with his crotch sniffing. But whether it's heavyweight against Aspinall, light heavyweight against Ankalaev, or middleweight against Dricus, this is just going to hold him over until then. It's just filling up a pay-per-view spot for the UFC because they know damn well they can't roll up on a pay-per-view with Pennington versus Pena and expect people to buy that shit or show up in general. So that's my take. I'm going to take Alex Pereira by second round KO. I think Khalil will do enough on the feet to, Pereira's not that stupid. He made a stupid mistake against Izzy, but he's got a good fight sense. So I think he's going to take the first round, see what Rountree's got to offer him, start the time up a little bit. And I think just like we saw with Vieria, right at the end of round 1, Pereira hits him with that shot, knocks him down. Right away, round 2 hits him with that high kick, knocks his ass out. So I think we're going to see something similar here where Pereira starts to have some success towards the end of round 1, and then round 2 is going to come in. He's going to fucking kill this guy, okay? He's going to kill him. And if he doesn't, the UFC's ruined. Well, they get another pay-per-view out of it, but then we got to push back the light heavyweight shot or the heavyweight shot. It's just going to fuck everything up. So I think they only made this fight because they're just assuming Rountree's going to stand there until he gets knocked out, which is probably what's going to happen, but I don't see this lasting much longer than the second round. If he doesn't get him in the second, it's going to be the third. And if it's not the third, I don't even want to see much more than that. Let's just see somebody get knocked the fuck out early, man. Let's see something crazy. You know what I mean? That's it. Those are my picks for the fight. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe for more, and I will be back after the fights with a recap of everyone. Peace.